Okay, so this is a video about this fucking wheelbarrow. Yeah, wheelbarrow modifications. Or modification, whatever. Alright, so I'm gonna show you what I just did to this thing. Because it was sitting outside and it was rotting and falling apart and it was loose and shaky and all around just messed up. And you could fix up any old wheelbarrow basically doing the same shit I did. So I'm going to address pretty much all the problems with these cheap wheelbarrows, alright? Alright, the first thing that I had a problem with was right down here. These screws weren't in here. I drilled this out and I put these screws into this support bracket because it had no stability. Same thing on that side. Screws. 2 screws on each one of those. And that increased the rigidity of this thing a lot. And then this up here, that one had no washer around it. It didn't have anything, and the metal was broken. So it just had like a regular ass fucking bolt in there. So I switched that out and put a longer, better bolt in there. And then one of the most important things you could see is that I did this right here. This whole piece of wood was like rotting out. It was rotting out. It was getting brittle and old. So what I did, instead of trying to paint it because it would just be impossible to try to paint it, I just got caulk. Just took a whole tube of caulk, Alex Plus, and just rubbed it in with my finger. Just used my finger to just rub it all the way in. Ran a line down each face of it, and then just rubbed it in with my finger. And then came back over it once I got it all fingered in. Then I came back over it with a wet rag. You take a super wet rag and just wipe it all the way down, and it makes it nice and smooth. And it's perfect. But yeah, that's easy. But I also put this tweaks. I had a roll of whatever the fuck this shit is. Used it to make a handle because I was just gonna leave the handle how it was, but I was like, you know what? I think wrapping it in this stuff will make it, stronger. And because I was afraid that the caulk would want to fall off over time. I wanted to have something more substantial, so I guess that's a benefit. And it looks kind of matches it because it's an old junky wheelbarrow. Like I wouldn't put that on my bike handles or nothing like that. But on this wheelbarrow, I was like, you know what? I could picture doing this on a wheelbarrow. Old junky wheelbarrow. And one of the coolest things is what the modification is. Real simple modification for any fucking wheelbarrow. You just go to Harbor Freight, buy these little casters. They support up to 200 pounds for each one. And get some fucking zip ties. Because I was going to bolt it in there and do like U-bolts and shit. You could U-bolt it in there. You can see there's enough room for U-bolts. But I didn't do U-bolts. I was like, you know what? I'm really not going to be having anything that's going to ever be able to break those zip ties probably. I don't plan on putting that much weight in it, and I don't think it'll be a problem because it's pushing down. The zip ties are more or less just holding it in place. It's pretty much if it holds it in place, it should be able to put tons of weight on it. I should probably be able to sit in that without it breaking, but I haven't tested it yet. But yeah, the wheels on this thing really make a big difference because when you feel like pushing it, you can put it on the road and push it like this. If it's completely full, you got this thing full of rocks or whatever the fuck you got in there, you could just push it. If you got to walk down the road, you could push it on the road and have it wheel. Or, you could push it off-road too, even with the little wheels, probably. As long as it's not muddy. But if it does get muddy or whatever, you just pick up the handles just like a regular wheelbarrow. And you wheel it. It's definitely something I would suggest doing on any wheelbarrow. It's worth doing. Along with the airless front tire. Front tire doesn't have any air in it. You don't have to ever deal with putting air in this stupid thing, which is nice. But yeah, I figured since this had a airless front tire on it, I was like, you know what? It's worth it to go in here and redo these pieces of wood. Just cover them in caulk so they're nice and smooth, and the rain will just run off of them. And I bought these wheels because I saw some video on YouTube about some guy putting fucking caster wheels on a longboard, like near the heads of this fucking thing, right there. You see where the bolts were at. But yeah, now since I tried it, I have all these holes in here. But I decided, since I had the holes in there, to leave this, put the screws back in. And I put the screws back in because I figured that's better than, leaving the screws out, right? I think that makes sense. And then I put solder over all of them to keep them from unscrewing and keep them tight. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Wheelbarrow. And then I just, put some caulk in here. I don't really care about how it looks. All I care about is that it works when I need a fucking wheelbarrow. And so that's why I did all the preservative stuff on this today. Because it sits outside. But yeah, I was going to put those wheels on that skateboard. And it didn't work. It was a stupid thing. So now I got a bunch of holes in my skateboard. But filling the shit in with the screws, I think, is probably the best idea. If you ever have extra holes in your skateboard, you try to mount something, put the screws back into wherever you drilled it out at. Alright, well, that's a 7-minute long video about this fucking thing. So there you go. Alright, I think that's all the ideas, all the stuff that I did to it. The wheels, the caulk on here, and then you wipe it down with a wet rag. The caster wheels, the front wheel. Wrapping this shit, which is I think is probably the coolest thing for this wheelbarrow. But yeah, alright, that's it. Adios. Hasta luego. Goodbye. Aloha.